Hello, everyone. Welcome to another exciting Lighthouse Live. What is Lighthouse Live? You probably know, but Lighthouse Live is a weekly session, a live session, where we host different people from AI landscape, from AI artists to thought leaders to CEOs, whoever is a remarkable person in AI landscape. And today we got a special guest, Jan-Willem Blom. He is an AI artist. He is a beautiful creator and a huge movie buff. Uh, Jan, so grateful to have you here, and thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, Luca, for inviting me. Really, really excited to be here, and cool to see you again. It was only a month.
Yeah, exactly. And 200 years before we met for the first time.
Totally. Yeah,
Yeah, so we met on AI Amsterdam Film Fest.
yeah.
Did you get any entry, or you were just a visitor like me?
I think the first. So this must be 2024 in Amsterdam, the AI Film Fest in Amsterdam. That was yeah, that's that summer. Yeah, it is indeed 200 years ago. So you tend to forget a lot of things happened that time. But I thought it was so cool because James Larkin was there. I met him for the first time. You were there. Met you for the first time, and it was. I even remember we were standing at the bar and it was just like we've been buddies for so long, right? That's I remember that, and then we went into we saw the films. We moved into a night in Amsterdam later on. So yeah, it was great, great evening.
And those were different movies, man, comparing to now. I mean,
Yeah,
we had what? We had Gen 2 or was it Gen 3?
this was Gen 3 came out January 24, so somewhere. So that
Exactly.
yeah,
So
we had that.
we had what? Midjourney, we had Stable Diffusion, we had
Yeah, we had Ideogram, uh,
Audiogram, yeah, just came
Ideogram.
out,
Yeah, we had
and
Gaia,
Runway and
Runway.
Pika.
Yeah, so in terms of image models, I think indeed Ideogram, Midjourney, and then for video, it was maybe Pika came
Yeah,
later.
yeah, yeah.
Maybe Pika
Runway
left.
was the first one. Yeah.
Runway was the first one. Yeah, I remember that the weapon like Midjourney and Runway together. There was
Yeah.
there was actually the first video clips in 2023 that
Exactly.
came around.
And
Yeah,
and I guess that what's the director of Pan's Labyrinth is
Guillermo del Toro.
Guillermo del Toro probably saw all those videos and said,
Yeah,
"Yep, this is it,"
this
because
is it.
those
Yeah,
actually were
yeah, exactly.
screensavers.
Yeah, his strong opinions were probably formulated back then. But what I really loved is when I think about that time is it was extremely fluent. I remember, everybody was posting a lot of experiments, often disgusting in nature, not because of the morphing, but because our brains were raw and structureless. And that's where I saw that LinkedIn was moving from a corporate platform towards more like an art gallery.
Hmm.
And yeah, that's that. I will never forget. That was so cool to see just people dropping their stuff at 2 a.m. in the morning and other people going nuts on what was possible.
Yeah, it was not crowded. The landscape was really, really well, just a few of people
Yeah,
there.
yeah, and this is also funny because we were few that the geographical I say like content was visible, right? A few of us in Europe, UK, Billy, Norway,
Sweden, actually.
Sweden. Sorry,
Yeah,
Billy.
there were just a couple of us.
Yeah,
Um,
just a couple.
yeah. So sorry, everybody. We are in the middle of things. LinkedIn is again doing some stuff on its own. I won't get into technicalities, but we are just, remembering the good old days about
Yeah,
200 years ago when we met in the AI Film Festival in Amsterdam. So you didn't miss much. But
yeah,
we're just, remembering how things were. And we only had Runway and we only had Midjourney. But, people started producing things back then. it was nothing like it is now, but yeah, people were busy cooking. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, we remember like this was not a crowded place. Not a lot of people were on the scene, and there was a
Yeah.
lot of technical videos. And ooh, look what I did! And oh,
Yeah.
I remember when Billy said walk cycle is solved.
Oh yeah. 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 It's just fun because it was you know there was no structure either, right? There was no titles, creator, or whatever. There were no paid projects, no clients. There was just a
Passion.
relentless drive to create and drop. And I think it's pretty cool. But like you just said, we also navigated towards creating teasers and trailers for movies that didn't exist yet. I think that's the first structure that came along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was something else working in those constraints, because your mind had to work differently. Now that everything is done properly, right? Now you can do everything. So there are no constraints anymore. And
Yeah.
it's fun, but it's not as fun as it used to be, right?
Yeah. Well, I've been thinking that I once created this was for Pika Labs 72-hour film festival, and I created the Phantom of the Opera remixed with Dracula, and I used the song from Camille Saint-Saëns, Danse Macabre, and actually I like that. But if I look it back right now, the visuals are it's 8-bit. It's really there's no motion, and there's a lot of gore actually, which I thought was pretty cool, like vampires being staked, those kind of things. And so it was funny because the models also had to adapt to what people were creating. Right now, content gets flagged really really fast, but before that, like I
No,
remember,
no
like
filters. No filters.
no filters.
Yeah.
Like a few weeks ago, when Sora came out, it was a month ago already, a few months. I did a samurai clip, and I had some.
You mean Sea Dance? Because
No,
Sora came
that
out
was
last year. Yeah.
Sora 2.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And I had a clip with a samurai in a boardroom, and there was a fight, and in the end, I wanted to have these bodies lying on the floor, but it didn't do it. So I had to prompt two men sleeping on the floor, and then it passed, right? So it's also creative in your how do you prompt those kind of things? How do you work around because you want that shot, so
Yeah.
you'll go around.
Exactly. But let's back up a bit. People probably don't know you very well. Could you tell us something about your background? I mean, right
Yeah.
now you are working with Grail and you're working with Escape Media. But
Yeah.
what happened before? I mean, how did you become the movie buff you are right now?
Yeah, so my professional journey started in events. There was 2008. After my studies, went to Cape Town and working event. I always wanted to work in events because the energy of massive crowds always appealed to me. It had such a strong effect, and yeah, so did that for years. And only in 2016. I started in video production. We were living in Nice in the south of France back then, and I was like, okay, if I'm going to restart my life here, I can do whatever I want. And I always had that passion for video, but I never had the option or the moment to do it. And that's where I said, okay, I'm just gonna dive into it, and bought this DSLR cam. There were 600 hotels in Nice, so I had my market, and I just went past them and say, hey, I wanna learn the craft of filmmaking or video production, and I'll do it for free. So that's how it started. And then the next one you price and you www, and at a certain moment I could get a business out of it. And so that was the beginning. And later in 2020, during the pandemic, I went into the live streaming. So worked a lot with OBS and those kind of tools.
Can we still see those videos?
Sorry?
Can we still see those videos?
Yeah, I still have them. Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
awesome. Online?
Online, yeah.
All
And
right.
there's one thing that's particularly funny with a relationship to today. Is all of a sudden I was doing a presentation there in France about my business from hotel videos, and but I didn't really, because French was still hard. So I drew my pitch, my presentation, and I had like a white paper and then like a camera tilted downwards, and I drew my hand like drawing it live, and I edited it, and it was 60-second videos, like a micro clip, and nobody was interested in my hotel concept. Zero questions, and everybody wanted to have such a like a hand-drawn video for themselves. So I pivoted from hotel video to hand-drawn whiteboard animation videos. I still have these online, and that worked. That was really cool to create characters for brands and those kind of things. So that's where it actually started, and then when Midjourney came out in summer. I created my first image in Midjourney August 2022. That's when I knew, okay, a lot of things are gonna change. ChatGPT November, December 2022. I said, okay, this is going to impact a lot. And then in January 2023, I started Video State with a YouTube channel where I actually did this thing, and I said, okay, I'm gonna bridge traditional knowledge from filmmaking and cinema, the cinematic wisdom from the 80s and 90s, with these AI tools. And because, for myself, but also for my audience, if we can create images, or we can create scripts, or we can create trailers right now, we need to have an understanding, a deep understanding of how that actually works, how you create a character, how do you invent a world, which worlds in the 80s were the ones that sucked us in, so we need to replicate that, and that became the essence and my mission of Video State. And then 2024 in January, I said, okay, I'm gonna commit harder, and I said I'm gonna post on LinkedIn every day. Doesn't matter which day, every day, hangover or not, we will post, and we will do it. So I haven't missed a day.
So how many pieces did you produce in that period?
So actually,
by the way, are you still doing a piece a day?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Kudos.
Yeah.
Kudos.
Yeah. So it actually was fun because in June 2024, so like 6 months in, Google came along and said, "Hey, do we want to host a keynote on filmmaking and the Google I/O event?" So that's where I said, "Okay, there's obviously like a need for knowledge on how to do things, but I always I'm not going to talk just about tools. I'm going to talk about tools and cinema, because for me that's the golden combination. Actually, I should say cinema plus tools, because it starts in cinema and then tools.
Yeah,
but
tools have become very, very easy to manage. But what people that are going into Gen AI movie space is still the fundamentals, missing fundamentals. So when all the directors that still have issues with AI will start doing things with AI, things will change drastically. But yeah, I think the fundamentals are really important. Tools can be learned, and so can fundamentals, right? But the thing is that if you have worked in traditional movie making, you already have everything to succeed in AI movie making, right?
Exactly. That's been my stance since day one as well. If you have knowledge and experience in creating films or working in film, these tools in your hands will be like very, very powerful. And there's an example from the 80s again, and it was the movie Blade Runner, where there was this guy Edward Newmeyer was
Never
working.
heard of it.
No,
it's my favorite movie, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Go on.
But there was a person who was working on the set, Edward Newmeyer, and on that set he got inspired to write one of my favorite movies, RoboCop. So that is,
Wow.
that means that I actually got it here.
So hold up. RoboCop was actually conceived on the set of Blade Runner.
Yeah,
Insane. I didn't know that. Wow.
yeah. So it's the that he wrote it. There's the story when he was in his I think it was in his trailer. He was so inspired by the immense sets that Ridley Scott built that he started, building this story about a cop that's about the super cop
Cyborg cop.
in this dystopian world. And it's rightfully so, because the world that Ridley Scott built there has inspired generations, and that's how it works. So we are on a set, or we are somewhere. We can even be outside. We get inspired, and it's just a spark of a first thing. James Cameron had a dream of an exoskeleton walking out of a fire. Well, we all know what happened there. So I think that's massively interesting to study, actually, like what happens even with these grandmasters of cinema. Like, what was their first spark to create the masterpiece that we know?
Yeah, correct. By the way, you then got a gig with Grail and Escape Media. How did that
Yeah,
happen? I mean,
yeah,
for all the people that don't know, Grail is one of the top AI studios. It's led by Davide Bianca, yes?
yeah. And
Yeah,
Jeff Credits. Yeah,
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 exactly. And Escape Media is like, help me out with this one.
yeah. So what the Escape, you can see it as an ecosystem for the AI
Yeah.
creator. So it's really it's founded by John Gaeta, who is the Oscar winner for The Matrix. He did the VFX work, invented the bullet time shot that also inspired like a generation of filmmakers. So it's really cool.
So, so the thing is
Yeah,
that Escape Media is, if you get a video uploaded on Escape, then
yeah,
it's a statement. It's a statement of your
yeah,
professionality, of your high level of art making.
yeah,
So definitely go check it out if you haven't
yeah.
already, and you won't be bored, I promise you. But
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So for me, it was 2025, January 2025. It was just founded, and they were handpicking creators that were dropping stuff. And I think that LinkedIn was a really big, played a really big role. And I had just released the Obsidian Rift, is one of my sci-fi crossbreeds with heavy music, and I got a DM, where they were inviting me to the platform. And in 2025, since then I've been building, I've been creating, I've been releasing all my work there. I think it was like almost 25 titles in 2025 or something, so one a month. And these all different sides, right? So there was, my heaviest work is like Night of the Living Dead and Bebold Saves Christmas. These were like 5-minute pieces, took over 100 hours to create. But now recently I also dropping like microfilms of like 60 seconds, so it can be varying all length. But what's really awesome is that when you go there, you will be so blown away by the sheer amount of creativity that's there, and everybody's on there. Every creator is pushing the boundaries of AI in their own way. So it can be either through a medium, so it can be music videos, it can be surrealistic videos, it can be horror. So there's the genres. Obviously, a lot of sci-fi and horror, because that's very very visual styles. But also, great narratives, great stories.
mm,
It's amazing. And I also really love the sense of community that they've built around
yeah,
the
yeah.
creators. So this Friday we will have the second ESC Awards, where we celebrate actually these creators. But they're doing a lot of just like on other streaming channels like Netflix. They have a spotlight section where they just spotlight creators. It's there's a lot of innovative formats. I've been collaborating also with the team on 3D worlds and those kinds of things. It's amazing. It's really
And
really
it's
cool.
also awesome because you can go check out the videos that were made 2 years ago.
Yeah,
2 years ago, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So you
Years
can
ago.
you can see the evolution of the quality, and it's mind-boggling.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but what would your suggestion be for all the new creators? How can they create a film or something that would land on Escape?
Okay, so the first thing that I always tell people when they want to get into this business of AI filmmaking is it doesn't start with a prompt, it doesn't start with a story. It starts actually with a creative anchor. It's something I call creative anchor. And the creative anchor is actually a something that you keep returning to when you create, and it's almost it has like this magnetic pole. It's a gravitational effect. So I gravitate towards mythical creatures, over the top, blockbuster horror, very very like full use of this visual and audio spectrum. That's where I don't even think about it. It just happens. And why? It's because I grew up with these kind of movies, right?
Yes.
So this and the video store, this it's that's my creative anchor. For someone else, it can be sports as a field of interest. It can be music, but then it's interesting to understand like what is that in music, what is that in sports that attracts you. So, for instance, if you look at sports, it could be that someone is like, I'm very competitive, so I love that. Or in music, I love metal. Well, we do. Why? But the question is, why do we love metal? Because it can be the rebellious nature. It can be the sense of belonging. It can be the sense that we are feeling alive when we're in the pit. It can be the brotherhood. So there's, if you dig deeper, you're getting to some essence about yourself, which is actually in the driver's seat when you create. And this is extremely important because if you're asking me to create a fashion piece, I cannot do it. It's not that I'm not fashion aware, but it's not a passion. And I think that this is really something important that people should start there. Like, what is my creative angle? Where I gravitate towards, and create from there, because things will go automatically. And the fun thing is that if you look at other directors, there's also this also applies, right? So you mentioned Guillermo del Toro. Well, his stories always are orbiting around outcasts, monsters as outcasts. Or Steven Spielberg, he had this trauma of his parents divorcing, so that his movies are seen through this children's lens. You know, so it's yeah. It's
So
I think
basically, find your muse and stick with it.
yeah
Yeah.
yeah
So
I think that's,
tools
yeah
tools are secondary. Idea is
yeah
the first, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is that when something comes into your head, you'll translate it through that vision. So when you have your creative anchor and you connect AI towards AI works as an amplifier, that tool. And and if you focus on tool first and story second, it feel more shallow than the when it's created from that creative anchor, because you understand something, you put an amplifier in front of it, and then it's working. Then it's working like that. Sorry about that. So yeah
So work on ideas, but I have a thought here. So I've been working on quite a lot of music videos
yeah
back in days 2007, 2008. And the thing is that I really my uh only my only what I want to do is I had to like the music. I had to like the song to create a music video onto that song. But when I shot it and when I edited it, it was just, I hated the song. So is it the same when you have an idea and when you work on it? When you're done, do you hate the idea and never touch it again?
no, I love it.
You love it.
Yeah.
All right.
No, there's okay, so there's two things. There's the idea and there's the execution.
Mhm.
So I can hate the execution, but I love the idea. That is it. So and that's the idea came from that creative anchor. There's just one love. It's all love there. It's just like it's passion for big badass stories, characters, over the top stuff, and the execution. So when I look at films that I created like 2 years ago, I can say, yeah, that's not something that I would post again today without saying like this was made 2 years ago. So and that's because the tools change. Um,
Let's talk about creative process.
yeah,
So I'm working on a short movie. Not sure if I'm gonna finish it because it's really well. The topic is not very fun. But anyway, the thing is that you work on a script, right? And everything seems good on the script. Everything is good. The dialogues, the story, everything is okay. You start working on it.
yeah,
And when you're working on it, you start seeing things differently because the story got an image. Your characters got a face, right?
yeah.
And you see how the chemistry is working through the script, through the acting, and so on. So, did you ever, saw that the script you created is not really, is not really compatible with imagery?
Yeah, I think that it's important to with AI tools to keep an open mind in when you create, because before in traditional filmmaking or video production you get through a process also with clients where you just nail down and write down what exactly how it's going to be. But that's controllable because you go in with a camera and then you can say like, okay, we're going to do exactly this. But with AI it's different because it's a slot machine and you not always know what's going to get out. Sometimes way better, sometimes a shot just doesn't work, and then you need to be able to say like, okay, this doesn't work. I still want to get to that point, but how am I going to do that? So yeah, there's many times that I've created a story in my head or wrote down, worked out the concept, and then when I was generating, I deviated from my own concept or script because what I saw in the generation was actually better than what I had before. So there's a choice: be rigid and say no, this is how we defined it at first hand, or say be fluent and say, okay, life finds a way. And this is also we're again a link to filmmaking, because there are directors that say, there's zero room for interpretation of actors in my script, and there's others that say, okay, camera 3 2 1 roll, and just let you go, right?
Mm.
And there's different these are different paths.
Mm. Yeah, we used to do that quite more often because you didn't have a lot of control over your videos. I mean,
Yeah,
the thing did what it wanted to do, right? So there
yeah,
were a lot of happy accidents when you just saw that this works better than I envisioned, right? And you
yeah,
just started doing things that AI suggested, right?
yeah. True.
Nowadays, we have a lot of control.
Yeah,
We actually write from second 0 to second 3, this will happen. From second 3 to second 6, this will happen, and everything just works, right? Do
yeah.
you think that we should be more open to fluidity and not stick that much to the script? Because I mean, we
Yeah.
yeah.
No, it's a great question, and it also is at a point where it depends how you are working. So, for instance, when I'm working on projects alone, I am both the creator, the director, the writer, everything at once. So there's parts of me that needs to communicate with each other in order to say like, hey, we're going this direction, and I'm pretty good at convincing myself then that that direction is a good one. Um, but on the other hand, I take a lot of time for these concepts as well. I don't, sometimes it takes weeks. Sometimes it takes months to really build something because it takes time to go deeper. And so when I have an idea, then I will not easily change directions because I've taken the time to really get through that. There can be stuff that can be changed, like shots can influence something, but there's a base that's non-negotiable almost. So an example, I had the Obsidian Ooze, which was the sequel to the Obsidian Rift, and I really wanted to have this ooze, black ooze, like disrupt and two realms like New York City and another one. So that was a non-negotiable element for me, and that came from the Nyx Carceris, which is the villain was trapped in a space between realms. So he was actually like a master of puppets orchestrating that. How that came out was different than I expected, wrote, anticipated. But I actually liked it because it was way more. It fitted the orchestra music that someone composed better than I had in my head. So the ooze, the realm, the places, the world building, non-negotiable element. But how it came to be, that was up for interpretation. On the other hand, where I think that we will also go to with AI filmmaking is that, writing a good story, that's extremely hard. That takes a lot of time. If you look at screenwriters, they can, it's months or years in the making. So because, great stories, they have these subtleties, they have dialogue that needs to fit. So I think that moving forward, we will see these little studios or teams where you have a creator, director, screenwriter, someone that does music. There's still a need for different categories of crafts and people to work together. Yeah.
So how many scripts did you write so far, and how many do you have on stock?
So I wrote, I wrote about 30 films or AI films right now, which are all on Escape. And this is no joke, but I got work for the next 200 years. And this is how I organize myself. So there's this project management tool that I use, and in these project management, it works like a Kanban card system. And I have like one card is one project. So I have, for instance, an AI shelf, and I created my project management system as a video store, as to have the link to my past. And so I have a shelf with AI films, and I drop stuff in there, sci-fi, a lot of horror, some comedy, action, and these are all a lot big stuff, right? So these are like trilogies, sagas. I think that's where we're getting at. We need to learn to start thinking in sagas instead of one film. There's a docu series. So for instance, I created like a Vikings myth carved, and I was like, hey, this resonated well. What if we would do a Romans myth carved? So the myth carved has become some kind of a series where I was like, okay, with different narrators, I can create a 3D image of a historical session. So okay, let's park that. There's a folklore section. There's way more. I'm not going to spoil everything, but yeah. It's
a lot of things coming in the next 200 years.
Yes, a lot. Yes.
Did you ever think of hiring an actor to act for your characters? Because the hybrid approach is growing fast, and I think it's one of the things in AI that doesn't it doesn't get a lot of credit, because of course you need to shoot, you need to know the basics of filming things, right? But so the ones who are already mastering this and are going to AI are gonna take a large portion of a cake. My thoughts. But did you ever think that you would hire some actors and would would run your acting videos?
Yeah. This is a very, I think, a complex situation, because the models have improved so much. Like we've seen now with Sea Dance, that's, the level of fighting sequences that come out of it, dance moves. It's and that's based upon an image. So that's image to video, and the result is extremely good. The thing is that what you said earlier, and I think that's the truth. It depends on the level of control that you want. Like if I have like an action scene where two people are fighting, and I have an image, and I just say, okay, I want to have some kind of a Guy Ritchie style, like in Sherlock Holmes, that opening scenes that they go like the camera is very dynamic and it goes slow motion with the punches, and then the camera moves again. That's a very deliberate filming style. So if you want to have these kind of things, you can simulate that already with these tools. But if you want to have very like a specific way how punches are being done, or you have some micro directions, yeah, then you'll need to have that hybrid approach. There's something else that I've thought about, is like we saw Andy Serkis doing the motion cap for like Smeagol, Gollum, Lord of the Rings, and The Hobbit. And that's where I also thought, like, yeah, I totally see a hybrid approach there, where especially Hollywood actors would do that, because they know how it works. Only it's just that their likeliness would be probably then
Change.
changed with an AI model, an AI image. Yeah,
Yeah, and Circus is a very, very good. It's a very good reference, because not only he nails the acting of Gollum or Smeagol, and even later in the what was it called? Apes, Planet of Apes.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
I mean, those, he nails everything. He nails micro expressions. He
yeah.
nails, I mean, this is acting. You have to nail all those timings, micro expressions, the acting, the providing the words,
Yeah.
everything. Do you think that AI will be capable of acting like this, So it would be aware of the situation. It would be aware of what happened before, what's going on next.
Mhm. Well, I think it will. I think we already see. People like a year ago said AI will never be able to showcase emotions. Well, I think that we can already have image of characters weep, be angry. So the most extreme emotions, they're already present. The next phase will indeed be the more subtle micro emotions, the smirks, laughs, those kind of things, eye blinks. That's next phase. I think we've come to a point right now where there's not a lot of space left to increase the quality, because it already has this, the heavy VFX and the live action feel to it. So the next part will be like a less exponential change, but more in depth change of that. There's another thing that I'm also thinking about is, you know, will we ever love AI characters just like we do actors? For me, I grew up with so many actors. I had posters of all of them on my wall. Jean-Claude Van Damme, who I later met in real life, which was really an awesome moment. It's just like I paid a lot of money to be on a picture with him. That's not possible with an AI character. Sylvester Stallone, he's still here. These guys and these actors, you know and actresses, and everybody that was involved in these films, they had such an impact. So that's the question: Will we ever have that with an AI character? I don't know.
I mean, the thing is that I gave an interview it was 23. It was, yeah, it was in the beginning of 23. And I said that AI will probably never be good at depicting emotions.
Mm.
And the video was never, it wasn't there yet, right? And I said
Yeah.
that, you know, the photographers are capturing the moment, are capturing the emotions of people. You know, AI won't be able to do that. Well, I was wrong. I am very bad at predicting things. Now we know that we can do that already. Uh, we can bring such crazy emotions. Just today, I saw a couple of clips from Sea Dream 2,
Yeah.
and it was insane. I really never thought we would come this far, and we haven't even started yet. I mean, this is just the beginning, you know.
Yeah, but this now it gets interesting because what we have done in 2 years' time, which is extremely fast, is we've been able to replicate or simulate or create a synthetic reality of what we or of the quality of films that we are how do you say, like that we watch. So it's not that we are in the 80s now where we can only create analog looking. No, we can create almost 4K image quality stuff that really looks cool. So now our brain is cracking because we don't know something beyond this point. But back in 1890, where when cinema was conceived, they didn't have 4K. So if you look at the time span, what is the end? What is beyond this? I'm not just talking about resolution, but that's where I think that we've come to a certain frontier where we say, okay, AI can now replicate the stuff that we know, but what hasn't been invented yet. So, and that's where I think that we'll move into immersive experiences, 3D, 4D, 5D. I don't know. There's so many. There's still a lot of uncharted territory, but our brain hasn't defined that yet. We have never seen that before, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist or that it cannot be created. But this is not the end.
I mean, I remember a documentary from '99, if I remember correctly, where where people are living in different reality, right?
Mm.
But they're actually being enslaved by robots.
Oh wow.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
actually
I know that one.
behind you, just
Yeah.
behind you. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. So probably this will be, not the next step. There's always not the end game. There's never end game, but this will probably be the next step. Just
Yeah.
hook yourself with a cable, and boom, you are where you want to be. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
No, it's very interesting, and I think that that AI will help us define that next era. Yeah.
yeah. Absolutely. Let's talk about evolution of AI films. Um,
Yeah.
the first movies were actually, trailers. People
Yeah.
were doing trailers because we didn't have capacities to create the whole movie. So people were letting out their ideas in a short 30-second format.
Yeah.
Now we can create uh, not just micro dramas, which are getting more and more attention, by the way,
Yeah.
and is something that people are getting hooked on.
Yeah.
There is also a new wave of short films that are 10, 15, 20 minutes long, and they're
Yeah.
getting better and better and better. So
Yeah.
what is your prediction when we will get the full length feature AI movie? This year? Next one?
No, well, not yet, not yet. But I'll get to that in a second because first we have to go back 130 years in time.
Let's go back.
Let's go back. And 130 years ago, we're 1890, 1895. We had the brothers Lumière in Lumière, I must say, in France, who created like these first films. And they had a film, and I think it's 1896, of a 60-second microfilm of a factory where people were walking out. And, that was just a clip. We had Georges Méliès, who had actually created the first science fiction film and the first horror film. So the first science fiction film, it was or AI film. It was a clown and a robot, and this clown was animating this person, but he was a robot and having his own will. And there was some kind of interaction between the two. At a certain moment, you see the performer smashing in the head of that clown or that robot shrinking. It's super funny, and actually, it's funny that they discovered, or they rediscovered that movie. They thought it was lost. They discovered it in 2025, and they remastered it or reworked on it. And in Library of Congress, they released it this week. So this was in the news. And the thing is that these were microfilms, 60 seconds, full narrative in a short amount of time. And I think that what we are seeing now with AI is actually exactly that. It's like it's like a rebirth where a lot of content is experimental. We're creating characters and we're creating short stories, and the audience is, our attention spans are very short. So the microfilms are very a great answer to that. You know, back in 1896, nobody had an attention span to watch 3 hours of Braveheart. That came later, in 1906 or something, when they had the first full feature, where it was about like 190 minutes. But so I think that this mirrors exactly that time. And if you look at how cinema evolved from that time, with you know, sound, with color, with digital effects, but also if we still keep with that micro format, Kodak introduced that 8mm format. It must be somewhere 30s or 40s or something. Or we had in the 60s and 70s, we have a lot of filmmakers that started out their filmmaking journey creating short films, 2-3 minutes. And what they had is they had idea of blowing stuff up, or of intergalactic space battles. So I think that's a funny parallel. It's probably not 100% correct, but I think that there's something happening there. So when we want to define the future, or say like when what's going to happen, I think that we see that story obviously always has been the determining factor. When everybody can create with AI, the question is, will everybody do it? You know, that is not a given. I've got a lot of wood and tools in my shed. I'm not a carpenter, you know, so everybody has Microsoft Word, but not everybody is a novel writer. So everybody has AI, not everybody is a creator.
Exactly. It's so funny when people said, "Oh, I could do that." Well, yes, of course, you
Go
can
ahead.
easily do that. You can
Go ahead.
easily, sit by the piano and play Mozart. You have
Yeah,
fingers, you have a tool,
the
so
fingers,
yeah, it's
100%.
not that
No,
hard, right?
and this is what we did back in 2023. We were openly, we're spending a lot of time experimenting, learning these tools, learning from each other in the comments, which is very valuable time. But if you wanna start with AI and you want to start filmmaking, put in the hours easily. Like, right, commit to spending 1,000 hours on creation and see where it will get you. And I think that microfilms, going back to that, I think it's a great format for people to start. Don't start with a teaser, a trailer, or a short film. It's very it can be threatening, but a
So
60-second clip.
start with scene one.
Start with scene one, exactly.
Right.
Start with one character who does something, and then make the sequel, and the sequel is always better. So, and evolve and add more characters, play with the concept of time. There's so many things. So yeah, I think that we will. Oh yeah, there's one other thing that I'm really like observing right now, is that we are back in the 80s in terms of the creativity that filmmakers felt in the 80s. So for instance, if you look at Sam Raimi, who did Evil Dead, it's just a very tiny budget, but that movie breathes relentless creativity.
And
I think it was
it started the whole new genre.
it started a whole new genre. I think it was 50K budget.
Wow.
Then the Blair Witch Project.
Yeah.
It's also very tiny budget, and it started the found footage films.
But marketing was the thing that drove
Yeah,
Blair Witch
true.
Project. So
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah, and
let's be fair.
that is true. That is true, and that was pre-social media as well, because it was 1999.
Yeah, well, they got me because I was watching the whole drama around the Blair Witch
Yeah,
Project, and I didn't know that this was shot, right?
yeah,
That they had film crew and everything.
it
And
was
my
amazing.
friend said, "Oh, dude, I was watching a documentary on the not National Discovery Channel where they when they play documentaries, right?"
Yeah,
And he said there's a they found a footage of 3 people that got lost in the woods, and it's scary. And we went online. It was 98 or 99,
yeah, yeah,
and we checked out the website, and everything was real. I mean, the
yeah,
statements, the photos. And this friend, a couple of days later, he got 2 CDs. Back then movies were still on 2 CDs. Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah,
And
yeah,
we watched it, and we totally fell for it. We were 100% this is real footage.
yeah.
So marketing has a lot to do with this. And
It's
we
really
are in different stage right now. The 80s, we were discovering the marketing, the whole aggression of it, right? We kind of have the playbook developed, but we
Mm,
have to yet transfer it to AI movies.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true, and I think that right now is, what you had before is when you wanted to have a movie, you needed to get a writer, get a concept, pitch it to a studio. They would need to approve that. There's months. There's and now, so between your initial idea and the realization, there's years and a lot of money. And right now you can, that space has become very small, and that's where I said, like, it reminded me of the 80s creativity, where all these directors, they were not so steered, or there was not a lot of studio involvement, because these studios, they saw that, when we give the creator the space, it will work. Like John Carpenter's The Thing. How do you pitch a movie like that?
Yeah.
And so, and that's why I see right now as well. There's no studio involvement, or nobody's saying like, "Hey, you cannot do this AI film. It's too gross." People are just doing it, and they are posting it, and then they get the audience reaction. So that's a new way also for distribution. Like the social media channels are right now very important and powerful creator channels, where a lot of things can come from. I mean, my involvement in Grill comes from me posting a lot on LinkedIn. So it's the power of social media that led me to these guys. I'm super happy about that, and Escape as well, and us as well. So I think that's for creators also, when you want to start posting, start creating, and start creating and start sharing it. And it doesn't need to be perfect. It needs to have your angle. It needs to have a little bit of uniqueness to it, and repeat, go, and then you will grow.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get back to evolution and the Hollywood you were mentioning. I mean, the thing is that everything evolved into something that it's probably broken, but because we are seeing the cracks in the wall of Hollywood. So, would you say that the Hollywood system is broken, or did AI break it, or it was broken that all time, the whole
Yeah,
time? Because we had so many gatekeepers, right? So many ideas unrealized because of A, connections. You didn't have any connections. B, you didn't have any money. C, well, luck also plays a part in this. So
Yeah.
so many ideas, but so many gatekeepers, right?
Yeah. Well, I think Hollywood's not dead at all. I think it's very much alive, and I also think it's going through a heavy metamorphosis. But you know, still, Hollywood is the oldest person in the room right now, and also we need to see like what is it exactly. Hollywood for me is, and I think it's more than VFX. Yes, VFX has a lot of AI has a lot of impact there, but there's still writers. We need more writers than ever. The market for stories and for writers has, I cannot even say the duplicate. It's not duplicated. It's tenfold. Not even that. It's just like there. So writers is a profession that will be very important. Um, there is how do you say, like, Hollywood also exists of musicians, right? I think the AI music right now, you cannot use that in a professional production. It's getting better, but it's not something. It sounds very compressed. I work a lot with music composers to get better sound. Editors, AI cannot edit. That's something that you still need to have professional people doing that. Also including degrading, those kind of things.
We are getting there.
Ah,
I've seen a demo of
yeah,
AI based editing.
yeah.
Of course, we're not there yet,
No,
but
exactly, exactly.
but it's becoming really really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, Hollywood is distribution. It's not only production; it's also distribution. How do you put a film in front of millions? That's not something that AI can do right now. The network AI does not have that network. So I see that.
And most of all, sorry for interruption, but
Yeah,
most of all, we need creators for creating movies,
yeah,
because on contrary, like masses think that you have this giant red button, you press on it, and voila, here's a movie without
yeah,
any engagement, without any thinking, without any talent or passion. Just
yeah.
one button, press it, and boom, ready, right?
No, so I've seen people on LinkedIn as well making these statements like Hollywood is cooked, Hollywood is dead. I think that the amount of times that I've seen it be dead, declared dead, I think it's pretty immortal. Also, I think that it's just a lead generation tactic or shock rock statement, whatever. It focuses on one particular thing, and that's VFX, because it shows a clip. I made this in 2 minutes. Hollywood is dead.
Yeah, for 500,000. I saved 500,000 K. Yeah.
500,000. I saw someone say for $500 billion, and I was like, "Whoa, this is more than the GDP of an average country." No,
Exactly.
no, and also I love cinema. I love Hollywood. So I will not. I'll be the last person to declare that it's that. But yeah, it's in heavy water totally. But that's not the first time. We've seen all the examples of when Toy Story came out, Jurassic Park. The practical facts, that came to an end, or that went the niche. So it will evolve there. Yeah, that's what I think. And
So let's
yeah,
check something. So we have American movie production, so Hollywood, right? So the
mhm,
next the next biggest one is probably Europe, that is Bollywood, right? Then we
yeah,
have South American or Latin, and Asia, of course, a lot of stuff coming out of there. But the thing is that mostly Western dominant films are getting attention, right? And a lot of these movies come into cinemas are being distributed the old way, right?
yeah,
So now that the gatekeepers are down, that now that anyone can create a movie, right? Whether it's watchable or not, that's other debate. But anyone can create a movie. So how will we? And if we're looking the sheer number of the movies, right? And if we just take, I don't know, 1% of all those movies, there's still a vast number of new things coming out, right?
yeah,
where to put them. Is YouTube enough? Is social
Yeah.
media enough? Where will we watch all these movies?
Yeah.
Who will curate the movies? How will we select what to watch next? We have an issue with Netflix. I mean, you're scrolling, and you don't find anything in 300 titles, right?
Yeah.
How will we select what we like in let's say 5,000 titles?
Yeah.
How?
Yeah, I think that there is a framework where I think that this will fit in, and that's like the film. Let's call it a film pyramid. And it actually, what we have in the top layer, we will still have films that are produced as we are seeing them now.
Yeah.
So let's say Avatar from James Cameron, that will get a cinematic release. It will be very well marketed, a lot of actors. So that's that top layer. People will go to cinema. I went to cinema yesterday to saw the new Scream. So it's there will always will.
How many people were in the theater?
It was full.
It was full.
It was full, and it
Right.
was a Tuesday night.
Yeah. And what was the population structure? I mean, the viewer structure. Were there
Well,
a lot of
I
old
think
people? Were a lot of
I
young
think
people?
there were both actually. There
Oh
were a lot of
wow.
our age because we grew up with the version from '96. But there were also new people because Scream keeps reinventing itself the entire time, right? So it's still holding on to that meta storytelling structure, but it needs to evolve. So it brings in nostalgia, but it needs to evolve. So that's actually a pretty cool example. So cinematic movies, as we know, top level pyramid. Then one layer below, let's call that premium streaming. So Netflix, Disney, these hundred of titles that you mentioned, Stranger Things, Netflix originals, Disney Plus, those kind of things. And then layer below will I think will be like creator small studio creations when we get to that level of full feature films and episodic content that will also need to be distributed because these audience are now watching these shorts a lot on social, but these distribution platforms, they will want to bring in creators to to host their content there. So that's my guess. How are you going to curate that? Um, how are you going to cut through the noise? Back in the 80s and the 90s when we had the video store, we had 200 titles, and now with streaming, indeed we have already too much to watch per month. I have Netflix, Disney, Amazon Prime. That's already maybe 10,000 hours watching time per month. I don't know, just a wild guess, which I can never achieve. And now with AI, that volume is even getting bigger
Mhm.
because it's low cost, it's fast to produce. So I think that the social platforms will have a function in terms of the algorithm. We will be catered with certain creators that we like. That's already happening. There's a lot of people where I communicated with in the beginning. They're all gone, and I
Yeah.
was like, it feels like my LinkedIn network or what I see on my feed is getting smaller because I'm seeing a lot of the same people. So I
Or
think
maybe
that's
that's just algorithm, and it's
yeah,
pushing
that's what
some
I think.
other people in front. Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
And and then there's also like back to Escape. What's really cool is what they did is right now I think we're 200-300 creators on there. They connected to CTV, so Samsung, Rakuten. So it's possible to watch the content not only in the browser but also on television. So that opens up the audience with a million multiplier, and that is where we are right now. So I think that where we come from, it's very small. There were a few horror directors in like David Cronenberg, Wes Craven, John Carpenter, Clive Barker, those kind of guys in the 80s. And now you have probably hundreds just for the horror genre. Um, how will you stand out? How will you as a creator stand out? That's becoming increasingly hard. But the way to do it is social. Post every day, comment a lot, commit to commenting 10, 20, those kind of things.
So, it's kind of like the louder you are, the more chances that your film will be, shown to people. Is
Yeah,
that fair?
it's
I
not
mean,
fair.
the thing is that maybe we have a kid, an 18-year-old kid from, Kenya, and
Yeah,
he is crazy talented. He has so many stories to tell, and he creates a movie, right? But
yeah,
he's not a social media person. So all of his movies that he's posting on his Instagram or wherever, on YouTube, are not being seen just because he's not present enough in social media. By present, I mean having 10,000 or even 100,000 of followers. So, all those good things
yeah,
get lost in the wind.
yeah. That's what we've seen with the past 10 years is that influencers on social media, and that can be creators now, have the biggest reach, and they are becoming interesting for other companies.
Yeah.
If you're a creator with 10, 20, 50K followers, your value increases, even though you can share content that is of less quality when you have 5 followers, and that's lame. And that's lame, and it is unfair, but it's actually how it's always been. It's like you have to elbow your way through it.
So
And
maybe we need some kind of other AI, to curate for us to, pick the good things out of bad things and be impartial, right?
yeah, it's true, but it is also with curation. What I'm also like, how do you curate AI content when like the visual quality is almost the same?
Yeah.
When everybody can create shots that are straight out of a blockbuster, it means that it will get saturated very
Yeah.
fast, because it will get mainstream. And when it's mainstream, it means that you need to diversify. So that's why, for instance, people were tired of these superhero movies because there were too many of them coming out. I remember when Iron Man was the first, or the Incredible Hulk or something.
Those were good. The first ones were really good.
I think Spider-Man, even
Yeah.
Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire,
Yeah.
2001 or 2000, yeah, 2001 maybe. No, even before Spawn,
That movie
1997 or 8.
sucked. That movie
Yeah,
sucked, but it was an amazing soundtrack. I still
yeah.
love it. Yeah.
Or Blade,
Yeah. Hated.
Wesley Snipes.
Hated it. I just saw
Oh
it.
yeah,
I
I
just
love
saw it a
that
couple
shows
of
you.
weeks ago, and with my kid, and I
Oh
was
yeah,
just like, I used to like that.
yeah,
Yeah, it's horrible. It didn't age well.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
But that is if you look at the years 0 and the years 10, superhero movies have dominated that cinematic picture. And
Because it was safe. It was safe. It was safe
yeah,
making all those movies that knew that were blockbusters. I
yeah,
mean, what happened in 80s and 90s? Studios, studios took a
yeah,
chance on original scripts with original casting, and it paid out lots of times, not always. And now they're working just for to create a blockbuster.
yeah. But this is the funny thing, that whenever it serves an audience, because we have had these superhero movies for 2 decades because it serves an audience, and they work really well. And the only thing is that when a lot of these movies are being made, then you see that around the edges there is new space, uh, creating or existing for diversification. And that's what I think that what we see with AI right now. There's no one genre. We had a lot of sci-fi, but now there's detectives, there's animation, there's horror, there's thriller, comedy,
And
not so much.
there will be new genres and new styles.
Yeah, and there are crossbreeds, or like, we mix and match, and we put like an animated character and a live character next to each other. So it's never a dull moment. There's no formulaic AI content. So that's also, I think, you can say that it's hard to stand out because there are so many different categories. But it's also easy because the shareability is very high. So yeah, how should I, it's complex.
Yeah, it is. Have you ever been a jury? Is it a jury
Yeah,
on film AI film festivals?
yeah, yeah. I've been jury member. I was in October for the Dutch AI film awards, and
How
we
many
were
entries?
1,500.
So wow. So how many of judges were there?
I think there were four.
Four. So four people had to go through 1,500
Yeah. So
entries.
I watched in that time. I think I watched about 300-400 AI films in a very short time. And the fun thing was that in a week or in 2 weeks time. So I did that. That was full time, nonstop, watching a lot of stuff. And
How does that affect your brain?
well, there was a little bit of blood coming out of my eyes at a certain.
No, but seriously, how
Yeah.
that affects you as
Well,
an artist, as a movie maker? How
it's very.
does it engage you? Does it you know um, does it affect your creativity? Does it affect your imagination? Because when I was starting with Midjourney and I was hooked, I was constantly looking at Instagram and seeing what people are making. And the thing
Mm,
is that my creativity and my imagination went just sky high, skyrocketed.
yeah,
But this is an engagement. This is seriously something that you have to keep looking at. And
yeah.
how does that affect you as an artist?
Well, the fun thing is that I kept notes. I created notes for every movie that I watched in Excel because I wanted to do an analysis later on because I had to present an award and I also wanted to say something. So I kept notes during each thing. First of all, there was a garbage. So there were also people that submitted live action films. And out of these live action films, there were clips that were not edited. So if someone sending in their dailies raw footage, then we said no longer than 15 minutes. People submitted stuff that was like an hour long. I'm like, are you kidding me? So uh, that stuff I stopped. That was filtering it out. But still, there was a lot of AI generated work. Um, and I actually, what I saw was, I was looking always for intent. And it can be a character, it can be a message, it can be a story. But I found a few categories. It was funny that there was a lot of dramatic content where I was like, okay, the creator wants to express something, feelings, deep feelings. So it was a lot of poetic stuff. Um, and I can enjoy that. I can definitely appreciate that. But at a certain moment, you need to balance that because if that's too much, then uh, you start not taking it in anymore. So there were also a few blockbusters, artworks. It was very, very different types of films, and um, yeah, it was. Actually, I thought it was awesome. It was intense. It was an intense period, but I also and enjoyed and appreciated the time that these people had put into creating their content. Just like you say, you can also get inspired by it. and the guy who won a category did a film which reminded me of Tremors with Kevin Bacon. Yeah, that got my vote.
Nice. All right. Before final thoughts, I just have to tell that well, Lighthouse Academy is doing a Weavy cohort, and it's being sponsored by Weavy, and we have 3 tiers. So tier 3 is already sold out, and it was sold out in I think in 2 days. Then we have tier 2, and you can select, I think, 4 sessions. And tier 1, you can select 1 session. Everything is explained on the lighthouseacademy.ai. And also check out our other cohorts. We have AI for creative leaders, and we have advanced Confi. Both are insanely well put, insanely well designed, being led by really extremely well extremely good tutors, Ines and Maggot. And if you want to, elevate your knowledge, not just for tools, but for AI transformation, how to talk to clients, how to talk to studios, how to get gigs, check it out and see if something is cool for you. The new cohorts are starting in May. So you have some times, but the seats are getting really are getting sold out really quickly. So check it out and see if something is good for you. Jan-Willem, again, is any last words? Not as you're going away, but we're yeah.
Many still.
Yeah, I know. We could go
We're
on, but we
we're halfway
have to
through.
draw the line somewhere, man.
Yeah, gotta draw a line in the
Yeah.
sand. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of how do you say, like, there are a lot of things to for the people that are listening that are either starting out or whatever level. I think that the most important thing is to create with intent, because the audience will appreciate that, right? So and that can be a character that has a level of depth, or that can be a world which you've built out in layers that comes from different way. I think we should also have more behind the scenes of things. I love watching from real movie directors, like behind the scenes, like how did they, like RoboCop? Why did Paul Verhoeven, actually he was inspired to make a movie about Jesus Christ, with the theme of resurrection. It's that is so cool, and for many creators as well. We see the polished result online, but go in depth about sharing why did you create that character, why you were inspired by something. I think that there's too little conversation about that at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And like we said, start with scene 1.
Start with scene 1.
And then move to
60
scene
seconds.
2. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, totally.
Jan, that was amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it. It was really nice, and really enjoyed our chat.
Yeah, as always, man, as always. So definitely check us out next Wednesday. We have another guest. I'm going to reveal him. It's Uncanny Harry. So yeah, we're bringing the best people here in Lighthouse Live. So definitely check out next Wednesday. It's at 5 p.m. CET. And Jan, thank you again so much.
Thanks, brother.
And yeah, bye-bye.
See you in the comments.
Absolutely. Bye-bye. Bye, people. Thank you.
Bye. Bye-bye. Thanks. Bye.